If anybody's asleep, they're finna get woke up. Wow!
Well, hey folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our 1970 Corvette project. Today is finally the day. That's right, so it has been over 5 months since we started this project, and I finally got the engine back in the car, and today we're going to try and fire it up and see how she runs.
Not too much, but there's gas in there. I smell it.
Oh, I know.
Adjust it. Yeah. Wow, that was heat!
I like it.
God!
Whew. I do want to take a minute to thank the supporters of this channel and of this build for helping make all this possible. I want to give a shout out to Clay Smith Cams, to Harland Sharp Rockers, and to Super Clean for help making this whole thing possible. Thank you guys. I sincerely appreciate all the support on this project and the support you've given me and this channel. Now that we've ran the motor for a few minutes, about 10 or 15 minutes or so, gotten it hot, warmed everything up, ran into our first problem. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Yes, these are the original set of plug wires that were on the car. And as you can hopefully see right here, these guys just could not handle the heat being up against those new headers. The plug wires started to melt. The boots themselves, this one's actually really bad, was just starting to disintegrate, and you know, that's probably due in part to age, but also these plug wires were probably not meant to be right next to some open headers. So to fix that, I picked up a set of a high temp universal spark plug set from Jegs. Here's the part number 40280. And what you get in the kit is 8 plug wires, and I've already practiced on these, so that's why we've got some odds and ends in here, but it does come with both HEI and conventional, you know, distributor adapters. And then also, what I am really excited about is the fact that these plug boots are ceramic. So these things, according to Jegs, can handle up to 2,000 degrees, and being right down there next to the header, I think we're definitely going to need it. And I also went ahead and put some fiberglass protection on, just some of these fiberglass boots, right on the plug wires. Again, the wires themselves, the manufacturer says that they can withstand up to 600 degrees, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, being right next to these headers, I kind of wanted a little extra protection. So we've got those. And then to keep everything kind of neat and tidy, what I decided to do was go with this Moroso plug wire loom set. So you get kind of a angled bracket here that just bolts right to the valve cover. Yeah, it's just this front one here is a 2x2. They do come with a set of kind of, what are these? Wire separators. And then on the back here we've got a 2x4 loom, and then towards the back here I've got a 4-wire separator. And I went ahead and started making up some of these, and you know, I gotta say, this is gonna be so much better, so much cleaner than those original plug wires. And you know, being temperature 2,000 degrees rated, they are, I think, hopefully going to perform much better. So really that is all we have left to do. And then also in this segment of the video, I do want to show you, I picked up a new tool here. I didn't have one of these, so picked this up off of Amazon. Just a nice wire crimper, ratcheting pliers. You know, really nice. I've been playing around with this thing. I've made, what, 5 wires already, 6 wires. And I've got to say, this is my first time using one of these tools, but it is really easy, straightforward, and from what I can tell, makes a really nice crimp. So I'm going to show you guys how I do one of these, and then we're going to get everything wrapped up on the distributor, and that really should be all we have to do for another shakedown. So with that, let's go ahead and make these last few spark plug wires. So to continue with this project, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plug wires made up already, and I've just got number 2 and number 5 left. And I've got to say, this universal kit, you know, gives me plenty of plug wire to work with. So, you know, you can kind of route things how you want it. You know, whether you got small block Chevy or Ford or Chrysler, Dodge, whatever. You can kind of make this your own, customize it, whatever lengths you want. So for number 2 here, you can see I've got probably about 10, 12 inches of plug wire left over, and I want to make sure that I leave myself enough plug wire, number 1, to be able to rotate the distributor as I need to, but also in case, you know, I don't like the way something's laying, I can reroute it with, you know, some flexibility. So kind of like the way this is sitting here. I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this wire. Cut that. Now, the trick that I found, or a little pro tip here, first wire that I made out of this set, I forgot to put the plug boot on to begin with, and that was kind of a pain in the butt just to get that thing over top of the connector itself. And so I'm putting the boot on first, and then we'll make the connection. And then that'll make things a lot easier to be able to get that connector, you know, back over the boot once it's made. All right, so once you get the plug wire pulled through, or the boot pulled through, this crimper here that I picked up off of Amazon. Again, if you need one of these, link down below. But this thing makes it real easy. It did take me probably 1 or 2 wires just to get the hang of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it first. And what I have found works best for me, you know, as far as lengthwise, is leave about enough of the wire sticking out the back end as the tool is wide. So that's maybe about a 1/2 inch or so. So about a 1/2 inch sticking out, then that way you end up with about 3/4 of an inch of wire once you trim it. So get that trim there, and then you do have the fabric here that just trim off with your knife. That makes a nice connection there. Now we are not doing, this is not the HEI style distributor, so we don't have to double clamp the wire. All we simply do with this one is, now I'm just making sure that I've got the connector in the right orientation. So take the connector, fold it back, or take the wire, fold it back, put it on the connector. Now you can see that is just going to flop around and fall out. So what I have found that works well for me is bend these tabs in a little bit, and then put your terminal inside of the pliers, just 1 click. Okay, and then that will be enough to hold it, and then make sure you fold the wire over such that it is on the bottom of the terminal, so on the opposite side of what I call the W crimp. So just fold this over. This is a little tight, so push that in the terminal there. Make sure it's not hanging out the backside. And then I'm just going to make sure that this guy crimps down evenly. It is. squeeze it all the way, and let it go. And that is, all it takes to crimp this guy. So then I'll just pull the boot over the terminal, kind of make sure this thing is centered up in the terminal, just like so. And you have just made your custom length wire. Now, one trick that I did learn is that you push this wire on, it can kind of come off somewhat easily, just like that. You don't want that. So, and that happens because a little bit of air gets trapped in the plug boot. So what I figured out, or what I saw some other guys do, is just take a small Allen key, or you could take a really small screwdriver, and you're just going to stick it in between the distributor cap and the plug boot, push it down. That way the air has a little spot to escape, and you might even hear a little air coming out. Push it all the way down, and now that guy is on there nice and tight. So all we have left is one wire to do. I'm going to go ahead and do that one. We'll be able to plug up the distributor here to the coil. Just a couple wires to the coil here that we need to plug up, and I think we'll be ready to go, ready to light this thing up again. Alright, so there's the finished product. Now all I got to do is just hook up the coil to the distributor, and then hook up the positive and negative terminals to the coil, and we'll be ready to go. For me, that was pretty satisfying, you know, custom making my own spark plug wires, making them cut to length and routing them how I wanted to. So I think with this configuration and this setup, you know, we are in a much better shape than we were to begin with. So let me get all this buttoned up, and then we'll be ready to fire it off again. Alright guys, so first test drive was, I'll call that a success. Just a little trip around the block, and nothing broke, nothing leaked, nothing, you know, fell apart. So again, I'm going to call that a success. There are a few things that I do want to work out, mainly the idle. So the idle was too high in my opinion, and to my taste. It was running about 1,000 RPMs. And the throttle, or the idle screw, was backed all the way out. So I got to figure out why that is. And you know, it could be several things. You know, it could be a vacuum leak, it could be timing. You know, I don't know. If you guys got any ideas why my idle could be a little high, let me know down in the comments below. And obviously I've got to get this interior put back together. But I wanted to leave this apart just to make sure, mainly that oil pressure connector and hose and everything behind the oil pressure or the oil gauge was not leaking, and I don't think it is. So I've got to get all that put back together, and also I've got to give her a wash. Man, this thing has been sitting now for about 6 months, and it is just filthy dirty. You know, really, I think that's about it, guys. I think this thing is, for all intents and purposes, back on the road, back alive. Probably not going to take it to any car shows soon until we get the idle worked out, and I want to make sure the timing is dialed in. And then once we get probably, I don't know, what does the manufacturers call for, 500 to 700 cycles on that new McLeod clutch. After that is broken in, then we'll take it back to the dyno and see what this new engine really puts out. I'm really excited. From what I can tell so far, the engine is really snappy. And oh, the other thing I got to do is get an exhaust. So right now we're just running straight headers right out of the side of the car, and that thing is loud. So I've got to get an exhaust system put on that, and then once we do that, we will be ready for car show season. And that is probably going to do it for this series of videos, with the exception of a couple cameos here and there on the channel. But yeah, I'm really stoked. I'm really excited about this project. It has come a long way in 6 months, and I couldn't have done it without the sponsors, without the supporters of this channel. Mentioned you guys before, but once again, Harland Sharp, Clay Smith cams, super clean. Thank you all for the support on this build. It has been awesome, and I'm really excited to get this thing back out on the road and letting it rip. So with that, thank you guys for checking out this video and the entire series on my 1970 Corvette. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.